Thank you. Thank you very much, Vanderlei. This is fascinating science, fascinating science. Thank you for sharing that with us. I would like to proceed as follows. I would like to ask Ada Jonat, who has asked for the floor, to give her the opportunity to comment or ask a question. Following that, I wonder if I may call on Cardinal Turkson if he would like to be kind enough to address us. And thereafter, Archbishop Jackelin from Sweden to make a few remarks. Eminence, this conference is about science for survival, broadly speaking, but we focus on the COVID-19 crisis and all its consequences. And but before you take the floor, for which we would be very grateful, I would like to ask Ada Jonat to take the floor and ask her question or comment. Ada, please.
So first of all, this is very fascinating, Vanderlei. It's really fantastic. I hope it works and soon will be with people. I also hope that in the hunt after the bacteria, not much of the microbiome is being destroyed. That I'm sure that you will look into it. You will not let the microbiome suffer more than minimum. One comment I want to make is about what you asked yesterday and repeated today about our studies. So what we are suggesting or working on are several sites that we can target on each bacteria, on each resistant bacteria or each pathogen we want. So if we have between 5 to 10 on each one, and we're using it only for the cases of infection caused by this particular one, but one at a time. If we have 5 or 6 or 10 of them, one at a time. We don't release more to the whole world. Until there is resistance, there will be resistance to everything. And this will be about 10 years, 15 years until there is real bad resistance. But we have 6 or 10 more in our pocket. So we are safe for about 100 years if we go one by one. So if we look at it like this, sequential, we have an answer, but of course, no answer is perfect. The best
you see, I was going to elaborate a little bit. There is a threshold for killing a bacteria in terms of concentration and in terms of light doses in damage. So we can select what to kill if we play with concentration and with light doses. So it's very much, unfortunately, the resistant bacteria, they don't resist very much to the oxidative action. So maybe we can save the good ones and kill the bad ones. So this is, we are presently studying this, but I believe that what's coming next is a combination, is a medication or different mechanism like the ones you are proposing based on the ribosomes and everything, together with some oxidative action. So what I believe is combination of techniques will be a good solution for what.
It will be wonderful if you ask my opinion.
We need
Thank you very much and good luck.
We need to see more of this research. It's wonderful that you have started large-scale testing. So congratulations, Vanderlei, for this fascinating set of innovations. Eminence Cardinal Turkson, may we impose on you? You just came in to listen, but we would love to hear from you. Unmute, please. You need to unmute. Cardinal, we don't hear you.
Is that addressed to me?
Am I okay now?
Yes, you're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was apologizing for not being able to stay for long or speak for long because at 4 o'clock, in a couple of minutes, I need to start another conference for Kiev in Ukraine. So I simply like to observe that just last week, we did a similar event on the COVID with IT people from the Silicon Valley to see how technology ethical considerations of the solutions that we can find. Now, I think this is now about searching for solutions. The only observation I want to make, a quick one, is that I think our search for solutions to the pandemic probably needs to be a little bit more inclusive. Inclusive means, go to other places where normally we would not be going. I mean, if we look at the rates in Vietnam, how the rates are very low in Vietnam, and I see that the case of Africa is giving some explanation and over here. But just this example to share with you. There is an archbishop in Cameroon, in Douala, who has a solution for COVID. Just that it's not certified by the Cameroonian government, but it has been used for 10,000 patients and nobody has died. So we're encouraging him to have the government of Cameroon certify the product so that we can help, promote the diffusion or the spread of that product. So this is what I mean by the search should be inclusive. Looking at originally tribal, traditional medication sources, herbal medicine, and all of that, which can probably hold solutions for us in this situation. But for the rest, I like to congratulate you, and I hope to be able to join you tomorrow with a little bit more time than now. So for now, my apologies for quickly rushing, because I need to open this other conference, but I'll join you in a longer way tomorrow. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for your remark, as we will address Africa in this session also later again. I understand that Dr. Collins, Francis Collins, has joined us. Dr. Collins, I understood from your office that you had only very limited time to address us today. Can you clarify how long you may be with us?
And I do apologize very much for the change in plan. I know I was originally scheduled to speak 2 hours ago. Let's just say it's a bit of a chaotic time for the NIH director in the US right now, and I wish I had more control of my schedule than I do. And sincere apologies to whatever rearrangements had to be made for today's agenda at the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, a group that I am honored to be part of and have great respect for. I can speak for about 15 minutes, if that would be all right with you. I had sort of planned to go through where things are a bit in terms of the US efforts to respond to COVID-19.
Yes, yeah, that sounds excellent. Only a moment ago, I have asked Archbishop Antje Jacqueline to take the floor. Bishop Jacqueline, would you take a minute and then we switch over to Francis Collins?
Yes, sure, and I promise to be brief because I know everyone wants to hear from Francis Collins and not from me. But let me take the advantage to say how pleased I am to be invited to this. Unfortunately, I can only be here for this session. But being immersed in the nitty-gritty of being an archbishop is just a privilege to be allowed to keep an eye on the horizon of science in this specific situation for the whole world. Of course, hearing that light is a healer is very appealing also from a theological perspective, no doubt about that. I also would like to underline what was said earlier, that science is so important in this, and that science literacy, of course, needs to be strengthened in a time where fake news is such a problem. But I also think that this also applies to theology literacy. because the pandemic no doubt also puts very serious questions to theology, such as how can we say that creation is good if there is this virus, and what do we do about evil, and all this question of inclusion and exclusion, and the question of hope. I wrote a little book that is called Impatient in Hope, unfortunately in Swedish, but I found that the question of hope versus optimism and pessimism actually is a very valid one that cuts over all the disciplines, not just in theology. And my final little remark would be, I think we all need to, we all have realized that digitalization has taken enormous steps forward through the pandemic, and to study the effects of that in terms of socioeconomic inclusion and exclusion, and in terms of what that does to our social interaction. Since I think the new normal, whenever that comes, will be a hybrid normal of physical interaction, physical presence, and digital presence. And what will that do to our capacities to analyze, to synthesize, to have synergies, and so on? I think there is much exciting at the horizon for the academic world, for the corporate world, but also for the world of all kinds of communities, not least faith communities. So with that, thank you again for having me, and looking forward to the rest of this session.
Thank you very much.